Hey folks, Hubbard here with another video on closed hollow form, and this is just on some Christmas ornaments, because one of y'all messaged me and asked me, so here you go. The question I got was how to close a hollow bubble, like for a Christmas ornament, with the loop and all that, because as you may or may not know, especially if you first start getting into glass blowing, is that most people teach that you have to have some sort of air hole, because if it's hot, the glass will implode on itself as it cools, right? Everybody that's sort of closed off a bubble has done that before. But the truth is you actually can do it. It's an old Italian technique. Cesare Tofolo, one of the best, most famous Venetian wine goblet guys out there, has a closed seal hollow bubble in all of his expensive Venetian wine goblets. And that trick can also be passed on to Christmas ornaments. So if you want to make a closed hollow bubble, this is how you do it. So first things first, I pulled a point, as you can see here. And I'm just going to make, these are going to be super simple, just little simple bubble Christmas ornaments. And the idea here is you want to cool the air inside of your bubble before closing it off. Otherwise, if you have too much of that hot air in there, when that air cools, that transfer of energy will cause that glass to suck in or implode. So you want a minimum, the bare minimum of heat retention inside that bubble in order to close it off without fucking it up. And so I'm going to show you two different ways to close off the hollow form, and a third way, which is also pretty cool for Christmas ornaments, but that doesn't include the closed bubble. So see the little nipple on the top there? That is where that I just pointed to, that is where the ornament loop is gonna go. And right now I have air pressure through the bottom of my pulled point, and I'm gonna just start by adding a little bump on the top of, which is gonna be the ornament. Add a few dots for simple decoration, and that top nipple that I pointed to, or that top little bump, that is where I'm going to put my final loop at the end of this Christmas ornament. And so the question I got was, like I said, was how to finish an ornament, like closed hollow ornament, with the loop. So there's two ways that you're going to go about doing this, and this is the first way. And this is, in this case, you do the loop first and you close off the bubble last. In the other method, you close the bubble off first and do the loop last. Just so you know, this obviously is applicable to many different circumstances. I don't know how you want to use it yourself, but like I said, there's two ways to do it, and that's to add the loop first, close the bubble last, or you can close the bubble first and then add the loop. So here you go. And so in this method, you're going to do the loop. Like I said, this is the same loop that's in my pendant video. It's the fold over and flop method, as opposed to using the loop hole pinchers, which I'll use on the next ornament. And so the whole point of this method, obviously, is to close off the hollow form without having it implode on you. And like I mentioned earlier, the key to this technique is to have the air cool on the inside of that hollow form. So, because if it's molten hot, or if you're trying to add a bunch of heat to a closed form, it's the transfer of energy from that hot to cold that makes that glass either implode or explode when you put flame onto a closed form. So in this method, you'll see that's the reason there's a lot of these teardrop shaped Christmas ornaments out there. In this method, you are slowly pulling that. See that hollow point that I had with the hollow point that I was using to puff on? That slowly drawing that out, like you see right there, until the flame is on just a little end of it, and there's so little amount of heat in there when I go to finish that off, and that will keep the glass from changing its shape. That'll keep it from like imploding or exploding with the transfer of energy from the hot to cold. So that's what you want to keep in mind. That is the key component to this method. And like I said, Cesare Tofolo on his Venetian wine goblets, he has a hollow bubble in the stem of all of his goblets, all right? Like literally, he does it with the gold foil. That gold foil bubble in the middle of Cesare's Venetian wine cups is hollow and it's closed. So anyways, that was one method. That was where you do the loop first and then you close off like a point. Also, that earlier method is like how they do it when they do like plasma or neon. If you see any of these guys with these cool plasma pieces, when they vacuum the air out and then pump gas into it, and then they have to have it like a closed hollow form. That's how those guys do it. Is they pull a little nipple, a melted shut nipple, and that's how they get the gas in and out of there, and keep the hollow form full of gas for neon and plasma. Okay, so this next ornament that I'm going to show you is closing the hollow form first and then adding the loop on top of that. And this is like when I said how Cesare does all his bubbles and stuff. He makes this hollow form, closes it up, and then adds onto it. So if you were building, like say you were building a piece or whatever, and you for some reason really needed to have this hollow section on your piece, this is how you would go about doing it. Or also Christmas ornament that is a closed bubble. And in this method, you're going to make the bubble, and you're going to fully cool the bubble, and then you're going to close off the point, trap your air in there, and then you're going to build off of that section once you know that it's secure. So let me get into that for you. So obviously these are like I said, these are just simple ornaments, but the science behind the method is applicable to many different circumstances, and that's what I'm here to show you folks. So let me just run through decorating this bubble super quick, and then we'll get right into it. And oh yeah, so actually pause. Right before we get into doing this, I'm gonna show you one other quick method, which is super cool for Christmas ornaments, especially for Christmas ornaments. So you just make a simple bubble like this, bam, and see where I'm pointing to right there? See that little line where the propane soot is? That line right there, if you just cool it, bring it over to the saw. I see I'm making it cool to the touch. Bring it over to the saw, cut it straight. Just cut it right there. Give it a little flame polish, and you can go to the dollar store or whatever and buy all those little ornament clips where they you pinch it and you put it in the hole, and then it opens up like a spring, and then you hang it from the Christmas tree. So that's one. That's another way. And this right here, folks, this is a cool way. See that green only putting the oxygen on my hand torch, and I am quick cooling this ornament to make it cooler to touch. Also, there you go, blast a little oxygen. The oxygen comes out of your tank naturally cool, especially in hot summer days. It's really cool. You can like breeze it in your face with your hand torch and that kind of shit. But also, I use quick cooling. It's still a little warm. It's all good. But I use quick cooling in all sorts of applications, especially in line work. It's huge, super important. I have a fan by my wayside specifically for quick cooling in my line work, which I'll get into some of those tricks later on. But anyways, so yeah, you can just cut the Christmas ornament right there as it is. Go to the dollar store, buy some pinchy hangers, and you're good to go. Or if you, like I said, if you want to cool it down, this video is all about encasing air. As you can see, so it's cool to the touch. I cooled down with my hand torch. I could grab this bubble, and I cold sealed up to one of the little nubs, one of the little decoration bumps with that little formula. And so see right there, see that line? So if this was too hot, that line where I melted that tip off, that would either implode, right? Or if I had maybe sometimes you add it with flame depending on which way the transfer of energy is going. Sometimes it'll pop out and explode on you. Most of the time the glass implodes. You want to make sure that doesn't happen first. So you want to make sure that your bubble is cool and that you get that nice, even, rounded area. And you can actually see the inside wall. You can see that it's not sucked in. You can see that there's no crease or acute angle on the inside of the glass. And then you know it's good to go. And from that point forward, I'm adding the loop. I added an extra bubble or dot. I added an extra dot of the blue stardust. And I'm pinching the loop for the loop on this Christmas ornament. If I was Cesare Tofolo, and that was a gold foil hollow avolio, like they call it in Italy, which is a bubble with Marias in it, I would then add the top and bottom to my super dope Venetian wine cup onto this sealed hollow form. But like I said, the technique is applicable to many different circumstances. I'm just showing you how she goes here, folks. Hope that helps out.